Hello everyone, Hare Krishna. So today's topic is difference between soul and body. This is my most favorite topic. Even personally, I want to know. I have so many questions still, and you have so many questions about soul and body. As we know, our body, the physical appearance, but we have no such knowledge or you know some knowledge about soul. Soul is permanent and it cannot be destroyed. So but body is non-permanent, right? It's not permanent, it can be destroyed. So there are a lot of difference between soul and body. There are many things to talk. So please stay with me. How much I have learned from my spiritual teacher. Definitely, I will talk. Definitely, I will share about it. But please, before we have to pay obeisances unto Lord. Om Namo Shri Bhagavate Vasudevaya Namaha. So we have so many questions that what is the size of soul? What is the size of soul? The soul is atomic in size and it can be perceived by intelligent, right? It cannot be perceived by any common or normal person. It can be perceived by intelligent. Soul is minute in size. It cannot be perceived by any common man. It can be perceived by perfect intelligence. And this atomic soul is floating in the five kinds of air in the body. Five kinds of air: prana, apana, udana, samana, and vyana. All these five kinds of air is consisting in our body. It's called, in yoga system, we call as pranayam. And yogis, not only yogis. So these five kinds of air in the body manifests itself into five basic dimensions. So prana, which is related to the breath and the thought process. Once prana start receding, then the breathing process will stop. Samana. Samana actually generating the heat in the body. So once the heat start receding, then the body start getting cold. Now udana. Udana, if udana goes away, then the buoyancy in the body is gone. Buoyancy, it's actually it is related to the weight of the body. What is your weight of the body? So udana is the responsible of this. And there are still two modes, apana and vyana. I think vyana actually responsible for the particular body when it gets apana. So this five kinds of air consisting in your body, in our body, and our minute soul, this atomic soul is floating in these five kinds of air in the body. Soul is situated in the heart and spreads its influence all over the body. So these five kinds of air encircling the pure soul. So soul is situated in the heart, and this soul is the vital energy of the body and is compared with the sunshine. There are innumerable sunshines molecules, and the sun is how the sun is maintained the whole universe. The same way the soul is maintained the whole body. So when Arjuna was telling to Lord Krishna that I will not fight, then Lord Krishna was trying to convince him. One of very my favorite sloka I want to add, and then I will give a little bit explanation about it. That Dehino smin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantarha prapti dhirastatra na mahiyati. So Krishna was telling that this body is perishable and the soul is permanent. Then why you are not fighting? Then Lord Krishna started giving the proper explanation about body and soul. As the embodied soul passes through childhood to youth, as here Lord Krishna is giving proper explanation and he is differentiating between soul and body. So Lord Krishna is telling, as the embodied soul waxes from the childhood to the youth and then wanes into the old age and assume a new body. So trying to say that soul, passes one body to another body, right? So embodied soul passes one body to another body. But wise man, who is wise men are not prey to infatuation. Here Arjun actually was lamenting that Pitamaha is my Pitamaha. But Lord Krishna is trying to convince him that Pitamaha is the soul. Body definitely will be destroyed, but the soul will remain the same. So Krishna is trying to convince to Arjun that soul is, like how we change our clothes, right? So we change many clothes, but our body, remain the same. Similarly, soul actually change the body, but soul always remain the same. So here Lord is trying to tell the wise man cannot pray. So here basically Lord Krishna is trying to say that soul remains the same, and how we change our dresses, the same way soul change the body, adopt the new body. Soul adopts new body, right? So here we can clearly see the body is changeable but soul is permanent, right? Sometimes a man is a boy and then he grows into a young man. Then he grows old. But the soul is remain the same. Only the condition of the physical body is changing here. There is no crack in the soul when it's changing the body. The change from one physical body to another physical body will continue until the soul is united with the Supreme Father or Supreme Spirit, who is one, who alone is beyond the changes, right? So the conclusion is, how we change the dress, our soul change the body. That's why Krishna is telling why you are lamenting. Because your Pitamaha Vishmadev will be Pitamaha Vishmadev. The soul will be remain the same. but the bodily, physical body, the appearance will be different. How perfectly Lord Krishna is giving, explaining about the soul and the body. Where it is one of my favorite sloka, and from today onwards maybe going to be your favorite sloka, because it gives a lot of explanation about soul and body. Now one more sloka I think I must put forward, I must recite, where you will come to know more about soul and body. Matra sparshastu kaunteyaः शीतोष्णो सुखदुःखदः मात्र स्पर्शस्तु कौन्तेयः शीतोष्णो सुखदुःखदः आगमापायिनो नित्यास्तं तितिक्षस्व भारत. So wonderful meaning of this sloka. Please do recite. Please study. So here Lord Krishna is talking about the senses and their objects, the contact of the senses and their objects. So Arjuna is lamenting, but Lord Krishna is telling, your lamentation, your pain is like, in general, pain or pleasure is like Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha. It's like the season, how the season comes and goes. After summer and then winter and then summer and then so rainy season. So sukha and dukkha, pain and pleasure are like the season in the nature. It comes and goes. So for that we should not lament. Lord Krishna is basically was trying to say that you don't lament for the pain or for the pleasure which is not permanent. Sometimes pain are not always, there in our life. Or basically, Lord Krishna is trying to say and trying to convince not only Arjun, even to us, to the human society, that why you are lamenting. There is no reason for lamentation of pain and pleasure which is non-permanent. Right? Pain and pleasure, like as sloka says, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkadaha, like a season, like it goes and comes. Winter and then summer and then rain. All the season comes and goes. For that, we should not lament. We have to learn to adjust. We have to learn to adjust patiently. Right? Pain and pleasure are not permanent. It goes and comes like weather. So the contacts of the senses and their pleasure actually generates pain and pleasure, right? The pain and the pleasure is, it's occasional, it's a momentary, it's not permanent. That's why Lord Krishna is telling the wise men are not bewildered by these changes, by this pain or pleasure, pain, sorrow. So wise man knows that it's like weather, it's like season comes and goes. But we have to handle patiently. Lord Krishna is telling, hey Arjun, you should abandon all this kind of pain and pleasure. It's non-permanent. But this teaching by Lord Krishna, it's very confidential, because it's about matter and soul. This teaching about matter and soul. So by common men like you and me, cannot be perceived, cannot be understood. Only the seeker who is, only the pure devotee or spiritual seeker, and by their endeavor, by their effort can be perceived. It's a very, very confidential knowledge. So for the soul, neither but. So for the soul, there is no birth and there is no death anytime. He is not come into being, does not come into being, will not come into being. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval, and he is not slain when body is slain. That's why Lord Krishna is telling, who is not disturbed by the physical body and its condition, like happy and sorrow and pleasure, certainly eligible for the liberation. So definitely a sober person cannot be bewildered by such changes. Lord Krishna is telling the minute soul is acquiring, the physical body according to the work, according to your work, according to my karma. That's why the religious principle should be utilized. If a soul acquires the body according to our work, our karma, then definitely the religious principle should be utilized, right, in our life, to know what is soul, what is body, what is karma. So the soul is pervading in the body and no one can destroy it. Lord Krishna is telling to Arjun that your griefs, your pain, your lamentations are absolutely unworthy. Why unworthy? Unworthy because for the physical body, here Arjun, you cannot lament like this. So you live, you stop lamentation, stop your lamenting. It was very brief explanation about soul and body. And there are many more points to add, but some other day. Now at least we have come to know that we are soul, we are not body. Soul is permanent, body is non-permanent. Body is not permanent. Our physical appearance, our physical feature is actually perishable. How we change the attire, the same way soul actually changed the body. It's a confidential knowledge. It should be imparted by a perfect teacher. And after death, soul remains the same. There is no crack. In soul, there is no crack even after death. And we must not lament, or we must not show our grief or pain. We must not feel, because grief, pain and pleasure, Lord Krishna is telling that it's like a season, comes and goes. So you should not lament for death. So this was the basic knowledge about soul and body, based on the Bhagavad Gita. Definitely I'll try to talk more about soul and body into my next video. Till then, Hare Krishna. Thank you.